I'm Jeremy Jenkins. I run an estate agency in Bradford-on-Avon called Jeremy Jenkins Estate Agents, and I've been open now, I suppose, about 5 years. Been an estate agent 21 years this year, so that's me. I started an estate agency in Bath in 1994 and was headhunted around the industry quite a few times, chased the cash often, and ended up in the hands of a huge corporate chain of estate agents, which was pretty comfortable place to work, but not that fun, not that exciting really. And when the crash came in 2008, they made me sort of redundant, which was tough. You know, luckily I'd been there quite a long time, so they had to pay me, which saw me through for a while. But it also gave me time to think about what I wanted to do, and I didn't really want to be in that kind of situation again. Being unemployed and being a parent to 3 daughters and a husband, and having to provide and not being able to because you don't have a job is hard work. And in that period, I was applying for lots of jobs, but who wants an unemployed estate agent in a housing crisis? So being self-employed was always an attractive option, but it's a scary thing to go and do because you have to pay for it, and it's an expensive thing to open with premises costs and marketing and upfront wages. All these costs come long before your first cheque ever arrives. So it's a scary business. And whilst I knew I was a pretty good estate agent, you don't really know in your heart of hearts if people were actually buying you or the brand that you traded under, whoever that is at the time. So it's scary. Can I actually do this on my own? And it's also quite a lonely place to be. But I suppose you have to have faith in yourself and the people around you who you've asked to help you with that. Really, it's the fear of failure, and that's not always your fault. We were in the midst of the credit crunch in 2010 when we opened, and there was talk of it not improving but actually sort of getting worse. Lots of estate agency offices had closed. Credit was tough, still is. And I didn't know Bradford-on-Avon as an estate agent. I was born and bred there, grew up there. I hadn't actually worked there. I'd always worked in Bath, Corsham. So there was a certain amount of sort of winging it, really. But I was actually confident in that. The fear of failure, of not bringing in the cash, of not providing for my family, for not paying back my brother-in-law, and the ego of having failed would be, that crash would be terrible for me. So that was the scary thing for me. When it actually came time to sit down and create our company, I didn't really have a clue. I came across a premises in Bradford-on-Avon which my father had an antique shop in once before, and when he retired that came free and he kindly offered me that. I was very, very fortunate in that a family member offered me a personal loan, which I've mercifully long since paid back. But there were tons of other things I hadn't got a clue about, like how do you create a company, how do you do payroll, how do you do taxes. There were lots of things about what do we do on that first day, what do we do at the end of the first quarter, how do we actually set up a company and to run it. As I've said, I'm a good estate agent, but I'm not a business person, or at least I wasn't. So when I turned to Clear Vision and asked for their help, they were fantastic. We sat down, we had lots of meetings. They created the limited company for me and structured it correctly for me, and also really sat me down, asked me how all this was going to work. And that formula of sitting down and trying to map things out, how will you do this? What are your unique selling points? What's so great about your company? Where will the customers come from? How will you charge them? How will it all work? And they really gave me that track and the opportunity to sit down and actually talk about those things which I'd only vaguely really thought of before. So they're incredibly helpful in that respect. In the early days of any business, it can be quite a lonely place to be because only you really understand your own stress and your own space. And sometimes you just want to ask someone their input on an idea or how to do something which you don't know anyone else really to turn to. So it was incredibly helpful to be able to not just speak to someone on their phone, but often drive to their offices and sit down and just talk something through. Say, am I being crazy here? Is this a great idea or not? How does this work? And that's a function which I've always appreciated, and frankly still do. So those talks I had with Clear Vision right at the start, and just in fact before we started, was really about them putting me on the spot and challenging me as to what I was planning to do and would that work. And it actually gave me the personal strength to say to myself, you actually know how to be a great estate agent, because it's a very simple job. You just got to go and put houses on the market and then sell them. And it's that, it allowed me the self-confidence to go and just do what I knew I was great at, which is just being an estate agent. And that actually someone else would take care of everything that I didn't understand. All the things I can't stand, like paperwork, form filling, tax, national insurance, a certain amount of HR as well, things I really don't get, I'm frankly not that interested in, and I'm terrible at, and forms cause me personal stress. Mercifully, they can do all that for me with very little input from me. So it allows me to not be stressed out about that, just go and do what I enjoy doing. And in the firm faith that I know my payroll gets done, my VAT gets sorted out, my income tax is sorted, the corporation tax is sorted out, even to the point that they tell me when to write the cheque and who to. It means I don't have to even think about that. It's all done for me, which is great. So 5 years on, we're a lot more successful now, we're doing well, things are pretty much flying, touch wood. And Clear Vision is still part of how I operate almost every day. And there's two functions which I always feel that they fulfill for me, and they are these. Firstly, I feel like they're my head office. There's functions here that I treat as a head office function, payroll, VAT, a little bit of HR perhaps, and that makes me feel safe at night, you know? There's someone else somewhere else helping me out. And then there's my board meetings which I have with them, probably twice a year, and those are great fun in that I get to see in black and white how we're doing, but also I'm challenged as a chairman, as it were, by them as a board, about why I have planned certain things, what is the outcome as I hoped, challenge things I might be planning to do, and that keeps me grounded, keeps me straight, makes me answer questions which I'm not ordinarily asked. And that's a great board function as well. And an example of that might be when I was looking to expand our staff, and really a bit scared of it, because taking someone on is quite an expensive thing to do, especially if they're experienced and if they're any good, and especially if I headhunt them, which is exactly what I did. You generally have to pay them pretty good whack. So we sat down and talked about the implications of that, tax-wise, national insurance-wise, just sheer cash-wise. Could the business take it, and where could it go with an extra pair of hands? And that made me think a lot more seriously about it. And the outcome was that, yes, I made that call, took someone else on, took me 6 months to actually land them, but we've now got more full-time staff and we can just do more. And I can finally have some time off. So one of the exciting things about Clear Vision is that actually they are, in our case, involved in what I'm trying to do personally. So I've had long talks with them about my ambitions, my dreams, and my plans for my personal life, because I'm not just an estate agent. And although lots of those require cash, they also need my time. And that's the only thing I can't buy, is time. So they've helped me a lot to understand how I can get more time for me, really. And they've done that by us having lots of conversations about what I'm trying to do with my company for me. So as for my personal goals, I see Clear Vision as a partner in what I'm trying to do. So I will run the estate agency side in a certain understanding that they can handle all the accountancy side. But as I've already alluded to, they are crucial in helping me to achieve what I want to do in my life. And they've allowed me to crack on with my business and help me achieve what I want to by constantly challenging me about what I want to achieve and how I'm going to pay for it. For instance, property, our own huge extension on our house we've got. They've helped me with that. They've helped me with tax planning to possibly set some cash aside for school fees or investing, that kind of thing. And I couldn't have achieved that without them. So now I'm starting to achieve some of the things I planned to and hope for. That puts me in a really happy place.